Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, it's going to be a PvZ here between Whiteraw and Usain Bolt on Heartbreak Ridge for your Patreon cast of the week of April 1st. Left side, we have a yellow Zerg player named Usain Bolt. I think it's a take on Usain Bolt, a Jamaican sprinter who has very many gold medals for the Olympics. Then on the right side, we have a purple Protoss player, Whiteraw. He is Ukrainian. He does not have any gold medals, but he has won our hearts through his kind demeanor and through his StarCraft accomplishments. Alright, so PvZ here on Heartbreak Ridge. If you're watching this the week of April 1st, thank you very much for supporting me at patreon.com/FalconPaladin for at least $1 a month. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching this later in the month of April, then hit that like button and hit that subscribe. I'm here 5 times a week with Brood War content featuring old games and new games, and people like Whiteraw and Flash and Jaedong and Idra and Rhett and all those guys and Bisu and yes. Alright, so hey, this is... Oh no, wait, hold on a second. This is a pool first play out of Usain Bolt. It's very, very fast. Like Usain Bolt, extractor trick, allowing you to get 10 supply out of 9 available supply. It's basically a cheat. But yeah, I don't think the effects of extractor tricks are very agreed upon, right? Or else we would see it a lot more often. Anyway, yeah, man, that is a pool first play. Indeed, Overlord after pool, not an overpool. And Whiteraw scouted it. So, Forge coming in. Lings morphing in from these eggs. And this is why you probe scout, everybody. Alright, so let's see here. Let's cannon first. Maybe a gateway to help wall off. Maybe a second cannon after that. Maybe further wall off. Yeah, second cannon down here in case there's an attempted run by. I'm fine with that too. And then he's checking to make sure, is there a drone up here working on my minerals? This is a good thing to check. Whiteraw knows Heartbreak Ridge very well. And indeed, you have to worry about somebody working on those minerals because Lings coming through that back door would be pretty problematic. So, the Lings are on the way. Are we sending drones? What is this drone doing? I see you. Are you going for a very quick third base? So it's a quick expand after the pool first into what looks like a very, very fast third base here. So the Lings, they really can't go for this. I mean, the first couple... Ooh. Okay, alright. 2 Lings make it in. They're both injured. This could have been 1 Ling, but instead it's 2. Whether that's through luck or skill from Usain Bolt, I don't know. I really feel like the probes can defend themselves against this pretty effectively. 2 really injured Zerglings is not that bad. They're not going to kill probes necessarily. I mean, they might get this one, though. But they're just here for scouting. They're here to see what Whiteraw is going to be up to. This is actually pretty good micro, honestly. This one Zergling especially is about 2 hits away from dying. Yeah, you want to see if it's a Stargate first. You want to recognize is there expansion coming in, and there definitely is. There's no further Ling pressure because, again, we noticed the really fast third. Wow! So the pylon block comes up, and Usain Bolt's like, fine. I'll just throw my hatch down right here. Is he not interested in the gas? This is interesting stuff. I like this. He's going 3 base, not interested in the gas at his 3rd base, it feels like. Is this some kind of a 3-base Ling flood play out of Usain Bolt, which, again, I kind of feel like would make sense. All things considered here, and his name, and the fact that he went pool first. He's not getting gas at his 2nd base at all. He's continuing to work on gas here at his main, though, and just started a lair. Does he have speed? Zerglings, run around a bit. Man, have any of these probes died? I don't think we got speed. There's not a visual indication like there is in StarCraft 2, which is a bit of a problem. Hey, there we go. Probe down. Oh, Ling down. And no, these are slow Zerglings. Now metabolic boost is on the way. This is such an interesting game already. I love it, man. I love the foreigners when they come to play. I don't know who Usain Bolt is. There is no sign of him anywhere on Wikipedia or on BW replays. His name does not exist, but I have several replays of his playing against Whiteraw. Some of them are short, some of them are longer. So, I don't know. The indication seems to be he's somebody. He's able to keep pace with Whiteraw back in like 2008, 2009. So he can't be just a random scrub, is all I'm trying to say. So if you know who this is, let me know in the comments. And I can update the title. I do appreciate that kind of stuff. And there's a Spire coming in. So I don't know. I mean, this is still such a problem. Your gas income at the third base is going to be a huge problem. Natural base, still no gas here either. So this is basically, we want a couple Scourge to deal with the inevitable Stargate opening. Ooh, Citadel of Adun coming in actually first, and then a Stargate. Why does this feel like DTs to me? It's got DT opening, and then we start making the Corsairs. Oh, got a kill. A little bit careless there. It's got speed now, though, so the Zergling should not be caught by anything until a Dragoon comes out. Because Dragoons have that range, don't you know? Alright, got him. So this Pro very happily has a kill. Well done, Protoss Probe. You've killed a Zergling. I'm sure everybody is very proud of you. A Zealot wandered all the way across the map from Whiteraw and has 0 kills. Hold on. Hold on. Might be able to get a kill before he does! He gets 1 kill before he dies, and then he evaporates. But he scouts the Spire, recognizes, okay, so there's going to be Scourge out from my Corsairs that are definitely on the way. And do we have a Templar Archives anywhere? Oh, there it is. Just started popping in. Right as soon as I scrolled away from this area. So, we are going DT Corsair. It really seems like that's the play here. Is he's upgrading... Oh, he's just making a second hatchery. Ah, quel interessant there. I kind of love this. So he's just got a macro hatch is all it is. This is a macro hatch. This is the hatch that you're getting gas from, and everything's fine. He's got a macro hatch coming up with a natural base, too. Love me a good macro hatch. You guys know how much I love the macro hatch. So the Scourge are like, Corsair's not out yet, which indicates maybe a bit of a delay in that Stargate opening, which means maybe, possibly, Dark Templar are going to be afoot here. Somebody's dancing up here. There's a Zergling dancing up this way, and you just don't want this back door to be opened under any circumstances at all. Yep, 3 Dark Templar in production. Here goes nothing. So the question is Corsair Buddy going to get out of this alive? No, I really don't think he can. He's got to turn in order to go back home, and all sorts of different angles are involved here, and there's a lot of Scourge out, so yeah, no. Corsair dead. Got a decent scout off. Recognize no Hydralisk Den. No sign of a Queen's Nest for a quick hive or anything weird like that. Just playing pretty standard with the Scourge. And he's got a couple Mutalisks out here too. I really, really don't like Mutalisks against Protoss, but you know what? DT's moving out. If you can discourage the production of Corsairs because you have the Scourge out already, your Mutalisks are suddenly a ton better. So he's pumping resources into these Mutas, boys. You've seen Bolts, Yellow Zerg, going hard. 4 more Mutalisks in production. So a Ling Muta setup here is going to be kind of awesome. Versus Dragoon, Zealot, Dark Templar. Yeah, look at this. Whiteraw's like, oh, I done messed up. I didn't think he'd make Mutalisks. My Zealots are useless. My Dark Templar are useless. I don't know what he felt like was going to allow the DTs to get anything done. There are no Corsairs here to make sure the Overlords die. What are you doing, Whiteraw? I'm very confused by this from you. I'm not particularly encouraged by it as a Whiteraw fan, but as a Zerg fan, I'm feeling alright about things. Right? We've seen Bolt at 76 supply to 78 at the 9-minute mark. That's a great place to be. You just wiped out a ton of army for Whiteraw and didn't lose anything in the process. So we're just going to absolutely just jump on this cannon, or this cannon, sorry, we're killing this cannon. That's the plan here. And that Stargate is empty, man. We are not building Corsairs to deal with this. We have Archons, and that's it. Maybe make more Archons. You're not working on Storms, so I'm not sure what these High Templar are for otherwise. +1 flyer attack, missile attack coming in. Well, there we go. He's making his Archons now, or at least one. He's got another one coming inside the main base. His third base is coming up quite nicely. If the Mutas find that, they can shut that down, and that's going to be a bit of a hard defend for Whiteraw. I like how the DTs are covering it. We got this. If the Mutalisks show up, we'll take care of it. Don't worry, boss. Don't you worry. I'd love to see a fourth base. Maybe that's what this is. We've seen Bolt taking a fourth now. While he's got the air control, while he's got the map control, I'm feeling pretty good about this. We're swapping into Hydra production now, though. Working on upgrades for those Hydras. Working on the speed upgrade for Overlords, too. And honestly, I feel like Usain Bolt's ahead here. However, White Raw is a bit of a slower Protoss player, but he makes amazing decisions. These mutas are like, can we take that Archon? I feel like we can, but if we don't split. If we don't split, we're in trouble. He makes good decisions in battle and before battle as well. The DTs are pretty happy maybe to get some Hydralisk kills. They two-shot him. So the Hydras can't really run away. I mean, that's nice. I mean, you're not winning the game with these, but 4 kills on a single Dark Templar is not bad. Really shocked he never checked this before the cannons came up. He's a little bit in trouble now. Storm's almost done, so any High Templar that are produced really should be left alone to generate their energy. Yeah, 4th base coming up. If DTs found that, I feel like they could have done a lot of damage to that as well. But they didn't, and we're making Hydras, but, you know, Storm is the answer to everything Zerg has regardless. Maybe not particularly the... Maybe not particularly Ultralisks, but all High Templar snipes. We are going to take some cannon shots to kill several High Templar. Absolutely. That was maybe a little bit too expensive, but I understand the impulse for sure. I definitely 100,000,000% want to make sure that those High Templar are dying, even if I have to sack some Mulisks for it, because they're not going to have as much value the later the game goes on. High Templar will. They will always have value. So trading mutas for High Templar is not bad. Trading mutas for nothing is bad. Don't want to do that. These High Templar aren't actually particularly well protected right now, but the mutas, the Hydras are out here. The mutas are tucked up here. Again, I think we're completely done with Hydralisk play. This is a situation wherein White Rod would be dead if he didn't have Storm researched here at 12 minutes, but that's why you get Storm fast as a Protoss. I mean, these Hydras will wreck pretty much anything that you have, I guess outside of Reavers, but, man, I mean, this is a lot of Zealots in all fairness. Zealots are Hydralisk enemies, without question. Alright, so Storm actually, catches a High Templar with its own Storm there. Not ideal. Archon's trying to make this happen, but the Zealots are really tearing the Hydras piece to piece here. No micro at all. That is such a problem. Another High Templar snipe. Look at this. Another High Templar snipe, too. Another High Templar snipe. The Archon is chasing, trying to kill these Mutalisks, but the High Templar are just getting massacred. But the Zealots and the Dark Templar are handling the Hydralisk just fine. That's what I'm talking about. He's like, all right, cool. It's a lot of Hydras. We're going to go for a ton of Zealots. We're going to go for a lot of High Templar with Storm. And we're going to make... I guess we're going to use our Archon, but he's not particularly great against a lot of Hydralisks by himself, so we're not going to make a lot of those, yeah? Yeah, excellent. Not the greatest micro from Usain Bolt. No real kiting there to speak of. His Queen's Nest is on the way. He's working on 5 Lurkers because Lurker aspect is done. Lurker's okay against Zealots. Better if they're invisible, which I think is true for most units. Oh, these High Templar snipes are sick. Out of Usain Bolt. I'm loving this out of this guy. I need to cast more of his. Again, I don't have a lot of replays that are his, but I have a bunch, especially against White Raw for some reason. Maybe I have Idra ones as well. Entirely possible. I'll have to look into it. I'll look into the folder for sure. I did find a problem as an expansion comes up for Usain Bolt in the bottom right. I did find a program that lets you load different or install different versions of StarCraft automatically on your PC, just into different folders, right? So you have, you know, 112 in one folder, and you're installing 116 in another folder. God, these mutas are just, they're done. They are finished. There's one of them, and that's it. White Raw, again, naked expanding up here. If Usain Bolt had better map awareness and better scouting, he'd be able to shut these expansions down, at least temporarily. Force White Raw to actually defend them instead of whatever's going on here. I mean, he's moving his army over to defend it, but anyway, the point is, it'll load original Brood War in different patch versions and ostensibly allow me to load up some of these older replays I've been having trouble with because they're broken. So I'm going to give that a shot, and I'll see. I mean, again, this is a Patreon cast, so for some of you view this as old news, but for patrons of mine, I want you to be aware, maybe before anybody else. That's what I'm planning on doing. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, frustrated and annoyed. I'll have to find another solution for loading some of those older replays that I really want to cast. Alright, so it's 152 to 110 total supply in favor of White Raw. He's got just a beautiful mix of Zealot, Dragoon, High Templar with a single Archon, kind of just keeping everyone together here. Ling's not accomplishing anything in that situation. We need Plague. We also need Dark Swarm. So do we have a Defiler Mound is a question that I always like to ask our players. The answer is no. Definitely not. You're going to have a hard time without those spells. Usain Bolt. He's working on Adrenal Glands, though, which is good. But yeah, I mean, what sets apart an excellent Brood War player from a great Brood War player is spell usage for all races, man. It's Irradiate, it's Defensive Matrix for Terran, it's going to be Storm, especially for Protoss, and then it's going to be Dark Swarm and a Plague for the Zergs. If you can use these spells well, you're going to have a good time, a better time. If you can't use them at all, if you're afraid to use them, it's really, really hard to win games. So there is the Defiler Mound coming up at about 16 minutes from Usain Bolt. It means we're a little bit far away from having viable Defilers, because you have to research Consume before they'll really be able to do anything, or wait for their energy to come up, which is not a lot of fun. Yeah, that's why Consume is awesome. Like, as a Zerg player who has Defilers for the most of the time, it's not fun to wait for energy to come in. It's like, that's not how this works. Dragoons trade pretty well against Lurkers and against Sunkens, especially if there's no Dark Swarm protecting those Lurkers. It doesn't protect the Sunkens. But yeah, see, Sunkens are all gone, and there's just not a lot here to defend. The Lurker spread is a little bit awesome. It's a bunch of Lurkers. They've got 2-2, which is pretty impressive. It's 2-1 upgrades for White Raw, so we've seen Boat actually out-upgrading the Protoss, which is not something you see a lot of. He's really paid attention to upgrades here today. So White Raw just waiting for reinforcements. Zergling's coming up to see what we're dealing with, and the answer is just a beautiful melange of Protoss units ready to rock. I mean, the longer you wait, there's going to be Dark Swarm available, so I would recommend not waiting, I guess, but it contains pretty good considering how many bases he's rolling with right now. He's taking every one of his bases. It's split down the middle, and so that's bad for the Zerg player. Alright, Storm up, Dragoons attacking as they do, not allowing these Sunkens to finish because that would be bad news for the White Raw. Lurker Spine's doing alright for themselves. The High Templar somehow wandered down here and got spined to death. Zerglings coming in from the bottom, reinforcing just in the nick of time here. A Sunken, actually 2 Sunkens, actually are here fighting, trying to hold this, and the chaos is real. Lings jumping on that Archon before he can morph into a very scary Archon. He's not quite there yet. Zergling's doing alright against these Dragoons. Do they have the upgrades I'd like them to have? I don't know. Is there enough Protoss here to actually deal with these Lurkers? It seems like White Raw feels like there is. Reinforcements coming across are taking Lurker Spines. Not a good attack path. Not a good reinforcement path at all. Another dead High Templar. I really feel like the number of High Templar that Usain Bolt has killed in this game is dead impressive. Like, really, really impressive. This has been quite a bloodbath over here for the last few minutes, hasn't it? Dragoons coming in, catching some drones. They're just trying to build creeps, man. They're just trying to build creep colonies for Sunkens and stuff. But, alright, yeah, I get this Ling count in. They do have no attack upgrades at all, because really you have to basically choose between missile attacks and melee attacks. If you're a Zerg player, you could do, you know, either one, but you kind of have to choose. It's rare the Zerg player I see who really spends the time on both upgrades, you know? Is he working on... He is working on melee attack upgrade now, so maybe he's our guy. Oh, jeez. White Raw taking the middle would basically just be game over. Like, I don't know how much longer this replay has, but if White Raw could hold on to this middle base, which we haven't seen anybody try to take in a while on my channel. We've had a few Heartbreak Ridge games, and it just feels like taking the center hasn't happened in several months. This is usually, for some reason, Ultras come into play whenever the Protoss takes the center. I don't know why. Man, Lurk just trading. Ling's trading pretty well. The amount of damage they're doing is insanely good. It is 120 to 127 supply. Here's the thing. If you're on equal base count against White Raw, you're gonna lose if you're a Zerg player. You need to have a base up on him. You need to kill one of his bases, take it for your own, or take the center. You can't let White Raw have equal base count and then warp in a Nexus in the middle of the map. Not really something you can afford to do here, Usain Bolt. So, Ultralisk Cavern coming in. What did I tell ya? Reaver's here, joining the party for White Raw 2. Reaver's great against anything ground. Anything ground the Zerg player has to offer. Reavers are going to be a decent, if not amazing, answer for those. So we'll see. He's setting up for a bit of a flank attack here. He's going to come from the bottom, and he's going to come from the top. And I'm not sure he's got anything coming from over on this left side, but maybe he does have a handful of lings in there. Never mind, that's not a flank. He's just coming right up. Hey, first Dark Swarm of the day. Reaver's defending pretty effectively, especially with the shuttle helping him. Like, shuttle, best friend of base defense against these lurker attacks, because that splash damage ignores the Dark Swarm wholeheartedly. So it's a decent attempt. Defiler not getting away. The Reaver play the special tactics here. I'm not sure if it counts as special tactics if it's defensive. Maybe it is. That's a question for another time, but yeah, White Raw making those Reaver shuttles excellent. Scarab damage increases damage by 25. It's already 100 damage on a Scarab. They needed an upgrade to make them hit harder for some reason. I don't know why. It's already overkill for everything Zerg has except for Ultralisks. And I guess maybe that's the intent, is to make them hit Ultras faster, kill them in fewer hits, I guess. Look who knows how to do drops, though. Usain Bolt. Yeah, the number of times I've seen Zerg players beat late game Protoss on my channel directly correlates to the number of times they get drops. Look at this. Going to take down the Robotics Bay pretty easily, too. These guys are giving their lives to make sure this thing goes down. The Zealot's trying to stop this from happening. Oh, no. Deny the upflank. Ooh, is down, but the Robotics Bay. The Robotics Bay is almost dead. You could have denied the upgrade. Oh, that hurts. That hurts my soul. Okay, well, that's one way to put it, I guess. Oh, tragic. Tragic Kingdom. Name that album. Who was it? Who came up with Tragic Kingdom? Alright. Extra 10 Falcon bucks in the comments to whoever comes up with that first. Yeah, this is a White Raw win. I mean, we're 23 minutes into this thing. God, the Lings, if they hadn't been distracted by the army coming in, they could have finished off the Robotics Bay, and yeah, they would have died. But they would have accomplished so much. Alright, more drops coming in, but there are 2 Reavers and so many cannon style situation here. Ultralisk, who needs Dark Swarm? Dark Swarm is for weaklings, say Das Ultralisks. Also, our pathing is all messed up because we're big and fat. We're just gonna go home after killing some things. That's not gonna be a base kill. It would have been nice if it was, but it's not. Reavers clearing out ye old lurkers as they do. They're basically landmines, so they're clearing out landmines here. Ultralisk versus Archon. There's a great video somebody put out where it's like the cinematics of StarCraft versus the actual gameplay of StarCraft. And it was that, right? It's the Ultralisk versus the Archon, and then the cinematic for Legacy of the Void for StarCraft 2. It has an Ultralisk versus an Archon fight, and it's like epic and huge, and it's amazing. If you're a Protoss fan and you haven't watched the Legacy of the Void cinematic for StarCraft 2, you should watch it. I'm not telling you to play StarCraft. Just go find it on YouTube. It makes me want to play Protoss, even though I'm not a Protoss player, right? Hey, look, the Robotics Bay is gonna die. I got my wish. The Zerg infestation is real. Meanwhile, so many Archons, though. This poor Ultralisk is a dead man. White Raw is not actually defending his main, which I find concerning. But these Archons are on a rampage. You know what you need for this many Archons? A lot of fully upgraded Hydralisks. And there are just none of those to be seen on the map right now. Lings and lurkers are gonna do their gosh darn best here. But it's not going to work. And by golly, that didn't work. I'd almost rather that he use these units in the base race that we are kind of starting to see here. Because again, Whiterod not defending this base at all. He's just letting all of his gateways die. He doesn't have a lot of production outside of that. He's like, okay, all the tech structures for Usain Bolt are in his main. Let's go wipe that out. Defiler Mound dying is a big friggin' deal. It is not getting replaced either, according to the production tab. Usain Bolt has his own plans here. These guys cannot be standing idle while this stuff is going on. I mean, it's... Yeah, sure. A little bit hard to tell what's going on inside the Dark Swarm, but suffice it to say the Archons are kicking butt and taking names. They're here to chew bubblegum and kick butt, and they're all out of the bubblegum. 12 and 13 kills each. And the Hive is going to die, and I just... No. This base is alive. All you did was kill the main. You lost 2 bases of your own. It's 146 to 101 total supply. There's nothing that can handle this Mass Archon stuff. Scourge going after that shuttle. It would have been nice to get it, but nope, not allowed. Too much defense here. I'm not sure where that Defiler came from either. Does Usain Bolt have to rebuild his tech? He's got an Ultralisk Cavern. So we can make Ultras, and you can make Lings. He was building a second spawning pool, but I think he realized he already had one. He's got a Queen's Nest, too, so we can get his Hive back. Oh! All directions! Oh, man! Drops at the top. Storms down to the south. Away from home a little bit are these Ultralisks. Oh, my gosh. All right, that Ultra's dead. I mean, they're doing their very best. This is a lot, actually. This is a surprisingly high number of Ultras here to speak of. They are trying to do their best. Is he picking them up and dropping them closer? Oh, my. Oh, it's little drop play here. Both players dropping to their heart's content. I kind of love it. And then the Overlords, some of them died. And Zerg player's down to 67 supply. And, all right, he's got more stuff. How is he? Man. Macro is pretty good. The problem is that Whiteraw's not spending his money because he lost all of his gateways. These Archons, though, 18 kill Archon is not bad. It's not like legendary, but it's a lot of kills, man. The problem here, and that's it, yeah. I was going to say, it's an uphill battle for Usain Bolt, and it was Whiteraw is your winner. Honestly, a pretty well played game there out of Usain Bolt. I would have loved to see more Dark Swarm and more Plague, especially. Like, seriously? Anyway, that was an excellent game. I hope you appreciated it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you enjoyed this game. I really would appreciate that. And yeah, Archons, Reavers. I just feel like we just needed a lot of Hydralisks at this point. I know it's a little bit hard to tech switch and for Zerg sometimes, but yeah, Mass Hydralisk would have done the job against these Mass Archons, but they already switched to Ultralisks. Whiteraw already had Reavers out, already had Archons ready to go with 3-2-3 upgrades, and that was pretty much it. And again, letting Whiteraw take the center base when he has equal bases with you already, that is a death sentence. Alrighty then, let's check this out. Final scoration. We got ourselves a 245,000 points from Whiteraw, 221 for Usain Bolt. Had a higher APM, but APM isn't everything. Kill death ratio about a 5-2 for Whiteraw. Not bad. We'll give that a good number here today. Buildings raised is a lot. That's a lot of Zerg buildings to be raised, but that's what happens when you lose a lot of Sunkens and your natural and your entire main. And then resources here. Whiteraw outmined quite a bit. Didn't outspend a lot. He had a big bank at the end of the game. Which again, losing all of your gateways in your main base is gonna harm your ability to spend, in all fairness. So anyway, GG. Well done to Whiteraw. Gets the win here on Heartbreak Ridge. He is the more well-named, so that's to be expected to some extent. But, you know, I do cast games where that is not the outcome, and it's a little surprising, isn't it? But very good stuff. So that right there is gonna be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2, StarCraft Brood War Remastered, and a Patreon match. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.